Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
A staple of Lions home games is tailgating right here at Eastern Market.
I'm sorry for the people that have done it year in and year out. Now they don't have it.
Why it's not happening again this year, and it's not because of health restrictions.
Just a little bit more heat each day, and eventually we're going to have a real heat wave. Wait till you see the heat index readings as we head into early next week.
A grandmother is carjacked. A Local 4 viewer sees our report and then spots the suspects on her drive home.
I felt like I was in an episode of Cops for this whole duration. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Good to have you with us on our late edition tonight. What started as a carjacking in Monroe County ended up as an hours-long standoff at a home in northern Oakland County.
The two suspects went on the run after carjacking the grandmother at gunpoint. Our Mara McDonald is in Holly tonight, and Mara, they ditched that stolen SUV on East Maple Road.
That's right along here. They then took off running to a nearby home, people they didn't even know, and barged right in. That standoff lasted for hours in Holly. Police say William Lanham and his girlfriend Michelle Holliday, who are from Kentucky, carjacked that grandmother in Monroe County at gunpoint and then took off. MSP asked us to broadcast a Be on the Lookout describing a Honda Pilot with an Alabama plate and a vanity plate that read SOLEN. One of our viewers, who doesn't want to be identified, heard the story and was driving home when she saw it.
When I was driving on northbound I-75 in Troy, I just so happened to glance my eye, see this car that was a Honda Pilot with Alabama license plate SOLEN, and I was in disbelief. I'm passing by this car on the left, and I'm turning to the right, and I see this woman driving, and I see this guy in the passenger seat locking eye to eye to me, and I was like, whoa, I'm gonna back off, and I'm gonna call 911 immediately.
Our viewers stayed on the phone with 911 for half an hour, directing MSP where to go. The couple exited at a rest stop near Holly. She followed.
And that's when Michigan State Police, two cars of Michigan State Police, just pulled right up. They ran into the car, inside the car, and they fled across the grassy median, and they were hot like a rocket.
The duo got off on the next exit for Holly with police in hot pursuit. They opted to dump the car on East Holly Road and then ran to a nearby home where they stayed barricaded for hours. Lanham eventually let the couple herself up, and when MSP and police went inside the home, they found Lanham dead. Autopsy results are pending. We're in Holly. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Hey, Mara. Tonight, a Detroit court now says the CDC's ban on evictions does apply to Detroit and Wayne County.
The 36th District Court saying the CDC reclassified Wayne County as an area where there's substantial COVID spread, and as a result, evictions will not happen. The CDC order lasts until October 3rd. The CDC's reclassification also means counties including Wayne, Washtenaw, and Monroe now fall under the agency's recommendation for everyone to wear masks indoors. Today, the State Health Department recommending indoor masking and social distancing for all students and staff this fall. Governor Whitmer says she doesn't think there will be another mask mandate.
If I'm inside, I'm going to be wearing a mask. Now, I haven't mandated that everyone do that. I don't anticipate doing that. We've got epidemic orders that we still have those powers. The Department of Health and Human Services is watching the science.
Meanwhile, vaccinations are increasing in Michigan and across the country. Last week, about 41,000 Michiganders got their first dose. That's the most in a week since June.
Let's check in with Ben. We've got more heat on the way.
We do, and humidity too. So when does all this move in here, Ben?
Well, guys, I think we get to the rest of the work week with just the warmth, and then we start tacking on the humidity this weekend and put it all together, and it's going to be a force to reckon with early next week. Temperatures today, though, got right to our average high of 83 degrees, at least at Metro Airport. A lot of low 80s out there and even a 79 at Grosse Ile, but you can see that spread developing under the dry air. 73 at City Airport, already down to 60 in Ann Arbor, and there will be some 50s for overnight lows, but 62 in the metro zone tonight. There's your high tomorrow, 84. Again, just a little bit warmer than what we saw today, but the heat index really starts to play a factor in Monday and Tuesday. That's when we're expecting triple-digit feels-like temperatures. The thermometer stops at 90 on Monday and Tuesday, but feeling like 101 and 102. And it will not be all dry conditions. It looks like thunderstorms will become likely again. We'll time all that out for you, including some wet stuff this weekend. That's all in a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Ben. We are now 38 days away from the Lions kicking off their season at Ford Field against San Francisco 49ers. Unfortunately for Lions fans, word came today that tailgating at Eastern Market is not going to be allowed this season. It is not because of COVID restrictions. As Jason Colthorpe reports, it's because Eastern Market doesn't have enough people to work the large-scale game day crowds.
Make no mistake, not having all the fans out here all day on home game Sundays is going to take a real bite out of the bottom line of the businesses I spoke with today. Not to mention, for the fans that have been coming here for years, it's a real bummer.
I mean, that's the spot to hang out, you know, on tailgating time.
It was one of those things that I think I'd look forward to once, like, sports are back up after COVID.
COVID wiped out fans altogether last year, and now citing the lack of staff, Eastern Market is putting the kibosh on tailgating there for this year's Lions games.
I mean, that's the home of where we tailgate. You know, that's where I grew up tailgating at.
For many fans, asking them to find a new place to tailgate is like asking them to find a new place to worship.
I'm a little disappointed because we would always go down there. We'd go to Sapino's Pizza. We would go down there for, like, holiday games and just like family traditions. That's kind of a bummer because it was a really fun spot to celebrate and get excited for the game.
Round two, and with COVID, sort of semi-devastating.
But for businesses, it's less about tradition and more about livelihoods, which means they may just find a way to get the fans here regardless.
Since I don't understand what the staff typically did, because I haven't been through a tailgating before, this is new, I have a hard time understanding why we don't just reach for it. Let the people come and make it happen.
Maybe some of us will be getting in trouble tailgating where we're not supposed to, possibly.
It will be interesting to see if some businesses go rogue on this. And also, there are still some unanswered questions, like exactly which staff are they having trouble filling, and will people at least be allowed to park here for games? We did reach out to the Eastern Market admin. Granted, it was after hours, but we did not get a call back. At Eastern Market in Detroit, Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Okay, Jason, thank you. And an update to a story we brought you last night at 11. A man is now charged after a Wyandotte officer is dragged during a police chase.
28-year-old Edgar LeBron is charged with assault with a dangerous weapon, fleeing and eluding, and more. Being held right now without bond. This chase happened Monday morning. Body cam video shows an officer trying to pull a driver out of a van when the driver takes off, dragging the officer. The officer is okay. Chase happened after officers saw a man stealing marijuana plants. 3 men charged in a deadly rock throwing incident in Genesee County have been placed on probation. The 3 teenagers have spent the last 3 years in custody while the case went through the court system because there was a dispute for this long over whether they would be charged as juveniles or adults. Another man who was accused of throwing the rock pleaded guilty to murder and was released from prison this year.
Mayor Mike Duggan updating Detroiters today impacted by the heavy flooding back in June. The mayor says so far FEMA has approved about $29 million in grants for homeowners who had property damage. Today FEMA teams were back in neighborhoods going door to door to help residents. They also have set up disaster recovery centers in Detroit, Dearborn Heights, and Garden City. Mayor Duggan also wants Detroiters to know if they've received a denial letter from FEMA, that doesn't mean you're not eligible for help.
Denial letters are often not final. I know how much we've heard about this, but they may just mean you need to submit more information.
The federal assistance only applies for storm damage that happened on June 25th and June 26th. We put the information on how to apply on our website, clickondetroit.com.
You're tired of me telling you about what's going on I-75? Yes. Me too. But tomorrow morning's commute will be a little bit easier for drivers in Oakland County. It's because 2 lanes are now back open on northbound 75 between 696 and 12 Mile Road in Madison Heights. That comes after crews worked on emergency repairs after the sinkhole that damaged the freeway last week. One of what seems to be an endless array of events clogging things up on 75. Southbound I-75 remains unchanged. 2 lanes open right now through that area.
All right, still ahead, the search for a new permanent host of Jeopardy may be over.
Who is in talks to succeed the legendary Alex Trebek.
A Macomb County man accused of killing his girlfriend and living with her body for 7 months. How her remains were finally discovered. Tim.
It was a beautiful evening on one of our local lakes, but there's trouble ahead.
It's gross, and don't hit it with the boat.
Coming up, we'll go from this tranquil scene to the local cemetery. Yes, there's something fishy going on. I'll explain next on the Night Cam.